Hello everybody, and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more Plague Inc. Evolved Custom Scenarios. Alright, we got a request, and this one I'm excited about because it's already made the trending page because someone in our Discord channel made a scenario, and it is called the Dollar Flu. Where is it? There it is. This is the one by Grays. Natural selection at its finest. Gordon Amherst. I don't know who that is. Hello and welcome to the Dollar Flu, aka the Green Poison scenario. You are a genetically modified strain of smallpox, the basis for what shall become a lethal combo of multiple diseases. Because of this, your RNA is highly unstable and can mutate at any time. First scenario, feedback. I did have great plans for this, but I found I should be able to crawl before I do a marathon. Ah, gotcha. I would say that a lot of symptoms in the base came to my dismay after researching the diseases. This disappoints you. A bit of advice. Your disease naturally doesn't want to spread in hot climates, so be careful what you want to do in terms of evolution. Play it tactically. In fact, the creationist gene is highly recommended for this scenario. All right, praise Pravus. Here we go. Inspired by Tom Clancy's The Division. Oh, really? Oh, is that what this is? Oh, I don't know much of anything about that. But I'll bet you other people do. So hopefully you enjoy it more than I do. Okay, so if we're going to go for the ATP boost, we should switch this out for Creationist per the author's recommendations, reducing our mutation chance. Aquastatic, Streamophile, and Stimtostasis all seem fine. Be wary of the hot countries, huh? The Dollar Flu. Here we go. Welcome to the Dollar Flu scenario. You are a strain of smallpox that can easily be genetically modified to create the ultimate pathogen. Your disease spreads by dollars. Wow, what an incredible problem to have. But can you adapt this to spread by other means? No question mark. Question is, how the hell is this going to work in the poor areas? Clearly, we need to establish a global redistribution of wealth via the United Nations so that poor countries have basic living conditions. And those basic living conditions will lead to them dying because of poison in the dollars. There we go. Perfect. First scenario had great plans for it, blah, blah, blah. So basically, constructive criticism is appreciated. Here we start in the United States. Boom. Dollar Flu has begun in the United States, the place of the almighty dollar. Petrodollar. Whatever. Conspiracy theories. Dollar bills. Pathogen able to survive on dollar bills. Dollar bills. Increases infectivity, especially in wealthy and urban countries. Useful. Fomites, able to transmit via physical contact. So anyone who has ever touched money will be able to spread the disease. Perfect. Fomites 2, survive on increased variety of surfaces. Now see, how does this work in the modern era? Exactly. When people are using cash at an all-time low. I personally have not used cash in months, maybe even years. I've always used plastic at this point because who bothers carrying around cash? So would that just completely stunt this? Maybe. I need a cough. Excuse me. There's something in my throat there. All right, so we got our fomites. We can go for a third level. I'm going to go ahead and pick it up, and the reason I'm doing that is to get a really fast start in the United States because it is considered wealthy and urban. I'm sure other things are also quite good. Handouts. People begin to feel like they should help the world. My idea is coming to fruition. They give homeless people a bit of their money. Slightly increases the urban and wealthy transmission. See, and this is why you should never give your money to the homeless person at the side of the highway because you might actually be killing them with some sort of a nefarious disease in your money, okay? Your attempts to help them, is going to kill them. Now, you might be saying, that's ridiculous. I can't live my life that way, assuming that there's some sort of a conspiracy theory behind everything, to which I say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Just stop having good intentions and the problem goes away. Anyway, charity. People start to donate to charity in hopes it will go to a good cause. Slight increase in plane transmission. We also have greed. They want to buy more things no matter what it takes. Livestock, rodents, and beards. We haven't even looked at our symptoms yet. Let's see that. Nausea. Irritated stomach lining leads to discomfort. Slight chance of infection when kissing. Achinotopsia? Is that how you say that? Host struggles to perceive motion making. Perceive motion, making them more likely to collide with others/objects. Got it. Headache. Strong headache behind the eyes causes discomfort and reduces the ability to work. I could use a bit more severity, so we're going to go ahead and do that because I want to start spreading out of the USA. Drug resistance would be okay. Incubation period 1. Pathogen incubates in the host for 3 days, allowing time for infection before symptoms kick in. Slightly decreases severity and lethality. Interesting. Cold and heat resistance. We also start with smallpox strain. The Dollar Flu's main strain is smallpox, but many can be added later. Lethal strain. A strain harboring some of the most lethal symptoms known are added to the genetic code. Swine flu strain. Ebola strain. Marburg? What's that? Strain of Marburg. I don't know what that is. Dengue. is added to the genetic code. That looks like a necrosis thing. I'm hoping that's what it is. So wait, why would I be worried about getting the creationist gene? If it's all behind a gating mechanism, then I just let it mutate up to a certain point, and then when I feel comfortable, I just open up a few more gateways. And then boom, the mutation chance works for me. I don't know. Let's go for some more drug resistance because it is still going to be good. The United States is neither hot nor cold, so a little bit of basic resistance for both might be warranted, but also maybe not. We have spread into Mexico. All those people trying to travel down to Cancun with their almighty tourism dollars. Boom. You've killed us all. Let's go for some cold resistance so we can get around a little bit faster in Northern Europe since that is, you know, the harder place to deal with. Also Canada, because Canada is just being Canada. Heat resistance at 9 points. That would be good to pick up at least one level of that, so we will. For transmissions, we could focus on some plane transmission now that we actually are getting around. That would be fine. Disease extremely similar to smallpox. On further analysis, scientists have discovered that the dollar flu shares a lot of its genetic code with smallpox. Get rid of that apostrophe. However, its mutation, so you got it right that time, mutation is like none other. Scientists will have to work fast before a serious mutation occurs. Okay, maybe the creationist gene actually is necessary. I'm kind of not sure. The United States has started working on a dollar cure. Yes, by infecting more people with dollars. Or at least infecting Big Pharma with more dollars. Let's go for some charity for the plane transmission. That leads to air for arid environments and plane transmission. Arid environments will be quite useful to me at this stage. Plane transmission also is not bad. We'll pick that up. This leads to air 2, which is even better. We're not getting a lot of infectivity despite picking up 8 different transmission types. That is a little bit concerning. We need more severity is what we need. We're starting to get around. I'm going to miss out on all this DNA. Let's go for Marburg. That leads to coughing. Perfect. Pick it up. Chance of infection by spreading into the sinus. Yes, okay. And pulmonary edema, a little bit of lethality, and bloodshot eyes. Eyes become severely bloodshot and can run frequently. Runny eyes. Discharge. Disgusting. Let's go for the pulmonary edema. Yeah, it's got a little lethality, but I can work with that. More severity. We'll go for the bloodshot eyes next. First death in the United States. Someone literally died from money. I know it's a virus in the money. It's just more funny to make it sound like people die of money. Okay? Shut up. Air 2. Can't pick up this thing in the middle unless we get a lot more, which, to be honest, I'm not going to have enough DNA to pick up all of this, so we're just going to have to say that is probably good enough for our transmissions. Let's focus instead on upgrading some new types. I'm thinking the dengue. That leads to rash. Perfect. Sweating, also really good. Skin lesions, one of my personal favorites. Definitely pick that up. I suspect most of these are actually going to be the basics when it comes to symptoms, but they're cleverly rearranged behind different gateway mechanisms to make it feel more unique than it actually is. That is my suspicion. We don't have necrosis, but I bet you if we go for the lethality strain, we would be able to get that. We don't necessarily need more resistance. I don't think I need this. We're kind of out of transmissions there. Could go for greed, but at 11 points, is it worth it? I would say no. Maybe some birds, though, for a little extra land transmission. Can be situationally helpful. We actually might need more cold transmission or resistance. I wasn't planning on it, but yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Spread faster in places like Russia, get into Greenland, and so on. We're now in Norway. Good. Let's go for the swine flu strain. That leads to vomiting. All right. Then severe abdominal pains or severe weight loss, which is actually potentially lethal. Body requires more energy and begins to eat away at fat to gain energy. You know, some people would be really happy to lose weight, but if they lose weight so fast that they die, I suspect that that would change their opinion a little bit. More drug resistance, since we're not spreading very fast in some of these places. Scandinavia comes to mind. Tempted to go for some livestock transmission type, just because we're not getting around in Russia. And most of Europe has closed down, which means we're kind of running out of time. So let's go for some livestock. There we go. Hit that critical mass in Russia. Send a boat. I'm on a boat. Get a boat to Greenland. That was Iceland. Don't do that. No, don't go to Sweden. Go to... Gosh darn it. Severe abdominal pains. And there goes the ports. Norway, you're my only hope. Send a boat to Greenland. It's not going to do it. I'm going to have to restart, aren't I? Gosh, dang, that's so irritating. Incubation period. We're going to reduce it so there's less likelihood of Norway shutting down. Send the boat. It's only Greenland. Send the boat. Hey, it sent the boat. Lethal strain. Necrosis. Grab it. It's always good. Then we have hemorrhagic shock. Severe loss of blood volume causes oxygen deprivation, loss of consciousness, and death. followed by coma. Neuropathic effects in the brainstem cause loss of consciousness and sometimes death. Sometimes death. Significantly harder to cure. Okay. Coma mutated for free. Hey, even with the creationist stuff, we're actually getting a pretty substantial amount of mutation. It just occurred to me we actually have picked up 2 in the last, couple minutes. Severe weight loss is okay, but let's go for the Ebola strain. That leads to weakness, inflammation, and paralysis, slowing down the cure even further. Diarrhea through feces. Poor countries versus vulnerable. You mean very vulnerable. Sorry. That makes more sense. And dysentery. Okay, we have incredibly good infectivity. Everyone should be dying, and with the necrosis, that lethality is not going to work against me. Severe weight loss, we've now picked up every single symptom. Okay, maybe the author is right then. Without the creationist trait, this might have been a little bit on the tricky side. Let's go for some rodents, some greed, levels 1, 2, desperation. You know, just greed for the almighty dollar. Of course... Yeah, I was going to say something else that's a little bit smart, but I'm not going to do that right now. Let's go for some water. Water 2. A few countries are kind of holding out despite the necrosis, which kind of surprises me. We're already, maxed out in our infectivity. We shouldn't be having this much trouble, but I'm concerned we're going to kill too fast. Please infect a little faster? Come on, Bolivia. Don't you crap out on me. We also need to slow down the cure because, you know, it's really starting to become a problem for me. Genetic reshuffle, genetic hardening. I don't know if we're going to get enough DNA to actually reshuffle it all. So my score is going to be lacking a little bit. There are no healthy people left in the world. Fantastic. Now we just have to wait for a couple more to die. A couple more million, sorry, to die. And that will be it. The dollar few will destroy humanity. So, I don't think I've ever played Tom Clancy's The Division. So there may be some really good topical references in this, and I have no idea. People down in the comment section below, you tell me. You know, was this in any way sort of faithfully rendered unto the dollar flu, unto the Tom Clancy's The Division? Okay, I'll just go with it and say it fits. So the theme I can't really judge. Everything else is honestly not that bad. Again, the symptoms are a little bit sneaky and deceptive. It seems like there's a lot of customization. There's not as much as you'd think. There's some, but not a ton. Mostly, it's just got a bunch of gating mechanisms to kind of change how fast you can do things. And if you're going to have a scenario with an absolute ton of mutation chance, that can be an advantage, not a disadvantage. So for balancing purposes, it actually can be a good thing. Kind of depends on how you want to do it. Overall, I wouldn't say there's anything really wrong with the scenario. I think the scenario is pretty good. It's got a pretty solid theme. The writing is not too bad. Not a lot of errors in terms of spelling and grammar. The balance is pretty good. It chugged along at a pretty reasonably good rate. 622 days is a little bit slow, but it's not that bad. And as long as, I would say the only thing that you should be cautious about is if you are going to have a scenario that has such high mutation chance that in the description you have to warn people to get a creationist trait, you may have a little bit too much. Because you don't really want to force people to take certain traits in order to have a chance. But maybe there is a perfectly good chance outside of this. I'll trust your playtesting, you tell me. But otherwise, it's not a bad scenario. I'm pretty good with it. I would say yes. And it's already on the trending page, so I suspect this one is going to get a pretty good rating in the near future. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed. If so, then be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.